easyodds.com with myself, Ross Casey, and the man behind the chair, Jake Johns.
Alright.
Do you want to come up on his chair, Jake?
I suppose so.
Let us know how you felt.
Was
about
that a better
entrance.
intro though? Was that a better intro? I think probably not. I just thought about it in the last second, so no, not as good. I don't think.
We might get dissed for that one.
The slide up was a lot better.
You can always do a slide down on the way out of this video.
Don't you worry, I was going to do a slide down. Always. 5 games this weekend on TV.
Yeah,
we're just going through half the games in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So you can get a nice bit of profit. We got profit last week, didn't we?
Absolutely. We found out of 4 tips, we had 1 money back and 3 winners. So you can't ask for much more than that.
No, other than 4 winners.
Other than 4 winners, yeah.
But, first game up is Burnley versus Manchester City, who struggled through their match last night in the Champions League. Obviously, Burnley are not the best team in the entire league. They should be getting
not
past
quite
teams,
Champions League standards yet.
Should be getting teams past teams like this. But Pep, can he do it?
Well, the bookies fancy them, yeah. They were, of course, favourites to win this match. They've now picked up 5 wins out of a possible 6 in the Premier League. If you fancy them to beat a Burnley side coming off that embarrassing 4-0 loss at West Brom on Monday night, you can get best odds of 1-3, which I'm sure some people will fancy. Although putting an early game into your ACCA is always a risk. So if you do fancy Burnley, on the other hand, who did win this match, who did win this fixture back in 2015, thanks to a George Board goal and a 1-0 win at Turf Moor, then you can get a massive price here, Jake, of 10-1.
Yeah.
And they are a side that are much better at home than they are on the road. Of course, they've actually only managed to score 1 goal on the road, have Burnley. So all their points are coming, apart from that 1 point at Old Trafford where they somehow managed to scrape a 0-0 draw. All their points are coming at home, and they've won 4 of their last 7 home matches this season, which isn't bad at all, including a win over Liverpool, of course, which I'm sure Liverpool fans won't thank me for reminding them of. So there's plenty of reasons to back Burnley there. However, they have won just 1 of their last 11 league matches against Man City, so you can see why they are 10-1 best price, although that is a mighty price.
That is a massive price. Let's clear something up quickly. I think you said Burnley were 1-3 rather than Man City.
Oh right, sorry, Man City are 1-3.
Yeah, just in case you got a bit confused and thought Burnley 1-3 to beat Man City, that wouldn't be a very good price.
That would be a poor price.
That would be not a very good price at all.
10-1.
What's your recommended bet for this?
I'm going to be going into the half-time, full-time market here, and I'll be back in Man City in this. I watched the Burnley versus West Brom game, and
you did predict goals, didn't you?
I did predict goals, and the fact that Burnley let in early absolutely killed it for Burnley, because Burnley have got one tactic, and that's to be tight at the back. And if you get an early goal, then that takes their plan entirely out, and they did not know what to do. So the early goal was key. So I think if you can take that out of their game and score early, then that's a huge plus against Burnley, and I think that Man City know that, Pep Guardiola knows that, and they're going to come out of this game out the blocks flying, and I fancy them to be winning at half-time and then also go on to win the game. So Man City in the half-time, full-time market is available at 17-20, and I think that's a pretty decent price.
Yeah, 17-20, kind of close to evens. That's all you want from a game like this, isn't it?
Absolutely, and you're squeezing out far better value there than just backing them to win at 1-3.
Of course. Have you got any time price differences here?
I'm actually going to point out a first goal scorer price difference here. Aguero, who of course is an absolute goal machine.
He scores goals.
He's the best price at 13-5, or you can settle for 49-20. So yet again, pointing out that make sure that you use your odds comparison service on easyodds.com for your bets. And if you do fancy Aguero to score the first goal, 13-5 is available, and I'm sure plenty of people will be backing that, as he does score a hatful.
He does score goals. Next up is Chelsea versus Tottenham.
Tottenham,
but
yes.
This is probably the biggest game of the weekend, I suppose, in terms on paper especially.
I think so, yeah.
Spurs just cannot score other than penalties.
They love a penalty,
Harry Kane. But yeah, they're obviously going to be really disappointed and probably pretty tired after the Champions League. Chelsea have really taken the not being in having any European football.
Yeah, really taking advantage of that, haven't they?
Yeah, taking advantage of that big time, and they've just been absolutely smashing the league recently. But what do you think? What about when teams kind of get more used to the three at the back formation. Because at the moment they're just kind of everyone seems a bit confused by it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And, like, once people start getting used to it, maybe it might be.
Although Middlesbrough in the last game had a great opportunity to break that amazing clean sheet record that Chelsea have had, but the ball in was just not good enough, was it, from Ramirez? Had he played that in, then that's an easy tap in.
Yeah.
So teams can get past them. Of course, West Ham even played them with the three at the back system in the cup and managed to win the game 2-1, didn't they?
Exactly.
So they can be beaten. But the bookies are backing Chelsea as the favourites here, and with good reason. That's now 6 games in the Premier League that Chelsea have won in a row, all without conceding a goal. They're just incredible at the back. But if you fancy them to beat a Tottenham side here that have not won at Stamford Bridge since 1990,
yeah,
that's incredible.
That
1990. Were you born in 1990?
I was not.
That's crazy.
No.
The last time that Tottenham won at Chelsea, Jake was not born.
I was not there.
And now here he is, hiding behind chairs.
I was not in existence at that point.
That's 29 matches in all that Tottenham have failed to win at Chelsea. So odds of 3 to 4 on a Chelsea win could well prove dividends.
Yeah, I like that actually.
Tottenham, however, did win their last Premier League fixture up against West Ham. They left it late, didn't they? There was plenty of Tottenham fans that left early. And West Ham fans that left early. There was a pretty humorous tweet from a West Ham fan saying, "Can't see us dropping points from here. We're looking comfortable, so I'm on the train home." That's unfortunate for him.
No, really? I've not seen that. That is ridiculous. That is just unbelievable. That's so funny.
It got retweeted quite a lot.
Oh god, I missed that one.
And of course, they do have their star man Harry Kane back from injury. He's now scored 4 goals in 3 games since his return from injury. And if you fancy them to win here, which would be their first since 1990, as I've pointed out, the best price of 21 to 5, which isn't a terrible price at all for a team as capable as Tottenham. And Chelsea have already lost this season at home to Liverpool, so they are fallible.
Yeah.
And if you fancy them in the full-time result market to get a draw, that's 14 to 5 best price as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Put your bloody mortgage on Chelsea double chance.
You could do that, yeah.
1 to like 20 or whatever.
1 to 20.
1 to 5 or something. What's your recommended bet for this one though?
I'm going to be backing a penalty to be awarded in this game. This match last season was an absolute war, wasn't it? It was a battle of attrition between two sides that hate each other. Tottenham needed to win the game to have any chance of winning the title last season, and Chelsea went ahead and ruined that for them, and it created all kinds of problems for the referee. There was melees going on all over the place. Dembele gave an eye gouge to Diego Costa, which was pretty harsh. And there was actually 29 fouls in that game last season. So these so these two sets of players do not like each other.
No, they
do not get on. There's going to be a cauldron of noise at Stamford Bridge, just like last season as well for this game. So I think penalties to be awarded is a great bet when you consider that in the last 6 games involving Tottenham, there's been 6 penalties. That is an incredible stat. There hasn't been a penalty at Stamford Bridge since the opening day, so there's one due there as well. So a 5 to 2 on a penalty to be awarded here, I think is a decent price.
That should be odds on. Harry Kane is going to score a penalty. That is just absolutely certain.
Yeah.
A penalty should be awarded to Spurs. So many fouls and stuff. Maybe you could look into the cards market.
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah.
Don't usually delve into that one, but that looks like quite an interesting.
Absolutely. So use our odds comparison to have a look at the latest odds on the cards market as well.
Yeah. Are there any time scorers in this one?
Well, as I pointed out that there's going to be a penalty, I think it'll be prudent not to say Eden Hazard, of course, who will be on penalty duty for Chelsea, scored against West Ham at Stamford Bridge in their opening game of the season from the spot, and he's the best price 17 to 10, which is the best price, far better than the 6 to 5 elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's
much better.
Yet again, pointing out that anytime goal scorer, absolute gem for finding the best prices.
Okay then. Next up is Watford versus a Stoke.
Exciting, isn't it?
Stoke of to be fair, Stoke of well they looked awful at the start of the season, didn't they? Turned it around a little bit, but at least they're not known as the old Tony Pulis Stoke.
Yep, they're now known as Mark Hughes' Stoke, that aren't quite as rough, but aren't quite as good either.
I thought you were going to say that aren't quite as rubbish, but also still quite bad, but not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Watford versus Stoke. Who are the favourites here?
The favourites are Watford. They're favourites here. They're unbeaten in their last 4 home matches, picking up 3 wins and a draw. So you can really see why they are favourites to win this one. They've also won 4 and lost just 1 of the last 7 meetings with Stoke as well. So you have to see them as the correct favourites here in the full-time result market. If you fancy them to win, then you can get best odds of 7-5. So nice odds against price there, which I wouldn't put you off at all. Mm-hmm. However, Stoke have only lost 2 matches away from home this season, so they'll get a crumb of comfort from that, especially as they lost their last match at home to Bournemouth, which was a disappointing result, wasn't it? So you can get a best price here of 12-5 on Stoke, or take the draw, which is also 12-5.
Interesting. Don't see that very often.
Don't see that very often at all.
Right. Okay then. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this game.
Would you just leave this one?
I just would leave it well alone and not even think about it at all. And I probably won't even look at the result. have I got any Watford players in my fantasy team? Might have Capu, but I'm not sure.
Capu is a good player as well.
So he scored again last weekend, didn't he?
Actually, I figured it out earlier looking at this that only 7 players have scored more goals this season in the Premier League than Etienne Capu.
That's crazy. Do you remember what was he 16-1 any time when he tipped it?
Yeah, that was my.
That was a beauty.
That was my hallelujah moment of the season, I think. Yeah. But I'm going to be backing another Watford player here in this game as my tip, and it's going to be Troy Deeney, the former Walsall striker, of course. He scored in each of his 2 previous Premier League appearances against the Potters, so he quite likes playing against Stoke. And he's 1 goal away from scoring his 100th goal for Watford, so he's going to be desperate to get that goal. Even better for him to score it on live TV in front of all of Britain that are going to be tuning in for this one, I'm sure. Stoke have conceded 6 goals in the last 4 away games.
Yeah. And
Deeney scored in this fixture last season, so with a leaky back 4 for Stoke and a striker desperate to score his 100th goal, I'm going to be backing the Burnley forward here at a best price of 13-8.
Not a bad price that. What are they saying in the old odds comparison, the grid?
Oh,
any time
on the grid, yeah. I'm pointing out as well here that you should use easy odds again, as always, because he's a worst price of 6-5 and a best price of 13-8. So make sure that you get the best prices.
A little bit better, a little bit more value. If you're a big punter, then you'll be that's a lot of value, a lot more money. Next up, Arsenal versus Bournemouth, the return of Jacques Wilshere.
Except he can't play, but he'll be sat watching it.
Yeah, the return of him, he'll be there.
He'll be there.
They'll get every time it shows him on the big screen, he'll get a big boo or something probably. He might be smoking a fag maybe. Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Obviously, Arsenal are the favourites.
Obviously,
They're disappointed Champions League.
Yeah, but they remain unbeaten now. That's 18 matches that Arsenal are unbeaten, which is very, very good. Of course, the only loss this season came in the opening day against Liverpool, which, as we all now know, Liverpool are actually quite good this season. So that's not too bad of a result in the end. Looking at that, so 4-9 is available here on Arsenal to win, and you can see why, because they are very good against Bournemouth. Trying to look at this now, so they've actually lost. Bournemouth have actually lost all 3 of their previous meetings with Arsenal in all competitions, and they've conceded 7 and they've scored none.
Good.
So
good record.
So the likelihood of Bournemouth winning here is pretty low. They did, however, win their last match. They got a decent 1-0 win away at Stoke, the team that we've just talked about, although they are without their inspirational Jack Wilshere for this game, of course, and he is the key to their attacking threat.
He was class last weekend, wasn't he?
He
really good.
He really stood out.
I didn't know that you
could
play against Arsenal. Didn't know that.
He's a parent club, so...
sometimes they let them do it, though.
Sometimes they do, yeah. But Arsene Wenger's a wise man.
Arsene Wenger was like, no chance, buddy. You play for us still. Don't you forget it.
So you can get either 4-9 on Arsenal to win the game, or 17-2 on a Bournemouth win. Or you can take the draw at a price of 17-4, which isn't a terrible price at all. Because, as we all know, Arsenal sometimes do choke, and they have drawn against the likes of Middlesbrough this season at home. So that could well prove a good price. But I will be backing Arsenal to win 0.
Okay.
Bournemouth failed to make an impression against the Gunners last season. They lost both of their games. They didn't score a goal, as I've noticed, as I've already noted, and they conceded 7 goals. They've got a decent defensive record at home too, do the Gunners. They've got 5 clean sheets in 10 games so far this season. At at the Emirates, and they're facing the Cherry side without Wilshere, and they've netted just 6 goals in their 7 games on the road. So backing Arsenal to win to 0 here looks a pretty decent price at 8-5.
Yep, really like that. Really like that. Is there any time comparisons for this?
Yeah, definitely. I've found Theo Walcott, a player that kind of flicks it in and out of the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So he might not even start this game, but if he does come off the bench, then he could well score as well. So make sure that you check the team sheet. But he's a worse price of 8-11, so that's odds on. But you can get a far better price of 7-5.
Oh wow!
Which is absolutely huge difference in the prices there.
8-11. That is so bad.
You wouldn't back him at 8-11?
No, I wouldn't.
But at 7-5, not bad at all against Bournemouth.
Oh my god, 8-11. You didn't even have Messi. Messi wouldn't be that price. Last game, we've got there. We've made it.
We've made it.
Southampton versus Everton.
Everton, yeah.
Everton are on a bit of a poor patch, aren't they?
A little bit, yeah.
Struggled last weekend. Southampton, on the other hand, really, going quite well. We were talking about this earlier. Everyone obviously talks about it quite a lot, but how are they still good? How are they?
Yep.
They for about 10 years they've been losing their best player every season, and players have been outgoing of players of other clubs, losing their manager. And then just get another world-class manager in who no one's heard of, and then suddenly he's amazing, crazy, absolutely crazy.
Well done, Southampton. You've got a good way of going about things, making money, and staying in the Premier League.
Great academy.
Well done, you. And your favourites to win this game. 23-20 is available here using our odds comparison service. They've been impressive at home. Southampton. They've only lost 1 match at St Mary's in 10 fixtures. So well done, you again. Everton, however, did win their last match at the Saints, an impressive 3-0 victory, no less. And some Toffees fans will like their price here of 29-10, and you can also get the draw at 5-2 in the full-time result market. But I'm going to be backing Everton double chance. While Southampton have been impressive on paper at home, the sides that they've beaten are Swansea, Palace, Burnley, and Sunderland.
Okay.
Now that's a who's who of relegation right there, and I think that that is impressive, obviously, to actually beat those teams.
Yeah.
But Everton are arguably better than all 4 of those sides that they've beaten, and they've also failed to beat Watford, Chelsea, Liverpool at home as well. So those are 3 sides that are better than the 4 that they've beaten. So to back Everton in the double chance market to either draw or win this game, I think at 81-100 isn't bad at all. Everton, they've actually failed to win their last 4 away from home, but they've picked up points in matches that they've not been expected to so far this season. And Southampton have travelled to the Czech Republic in midweek on a Thursday, whereas Everton have had all week to prepare for this. Plus, Jose Fonte and Dusan Tadic are 2 injury worries for this game as well, and those are 2 key players for them. So the double chance market at 81-100 is pretty decent, I think. And they've got the genius that is Ronald Koeman coming back to Southampton.
Oh yeah.
And who knows Southampton better than Southampton?
Yeah. I actually think Tadic is so underrated.
Tadic is good.
I think he's absolutely quality.
He loves a Cruyff turn.
Yeah.
Does Tadic. Probably too much. Across the ball.
If you could love a Cruyff turn too much, he does. Yeah, 81-100 Everton double chance. That seems pretty mental, I think. Maybe draw. I reckon maybe just straight draw.
Oof, risky compared to the double chance.
Yeah, I know.
That's why he's a gambling man.
Much riskier. But I like it. I think the draw, because obviously, like you say, Southampton are travelling all the way to Czech Republic. They've got to play a game. That sucks for them.
Playing football sucks.
And then Everton, they're going to be freshish. Freshish. Shit, oh my god, that's so hard to say. Okay. Is there any anytime goal scorer markets in this one with a big price difference?
There is. There's Mr. Seamus Coleman, the man that scored the late equaliser for Everton against Swansea last week. He's a best price of 12-1, worst price of 8-1. I know which one I'd rather have, Jake.
Definitely. Definitely 12-1. He scored loads of goals, he used to. He doesn't score as many anymore, but he did score last weekend, obviously.
His engine's not quite as good to get up there up and down anymore.
No. How old is he?
He's still fairly young, I think.
Okay. So there you have it. That is all five live games.
That's a lot of tips. And after last week's impressive run, let's hope to carry it on. So let's go through them.
I don't have a clue what was first.
We've got half-time, full-time market, Man City, 17-20. We're backing a penalty to be awarded in what is sure to be a hotbed of a match between Chelsea and Tottenham. We're going for Troy Deeney to score his 100th Watford goal at a best price of 13-8. Deeney! We're going for Arsenal to win 2-0 against Bournemouth at 8-5. And finally, we're going for Everton in the double chance market against Southampton at 81-100. Nice fivefold.
Woo!
Absolutely brilliant.
We made it.
We made it. Don't forget to subscribe to easyodds.com for
Like the
my
video.
football tips, Jake's horse racing tips, the man that's found big price winners this week, including a 14-1 winner. So if you like the sound of that and you're a horse racing man, or if you just like the sound of a 14-1 winner, don't know anything about it, but want to follow his tips, do that as well. So like this video, give us a subscribe, and I'm Ross Casey, and sliding down is Jake Johns.
I'm not going to go for a slide anymore.
What are you going to do?
A dance.
Okay. Dancing off the screen is Jake Johns. I don't know if it's going to end. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Cheers, guys.